everybody. Today we will be speaking about Google Forms. I'm going to refer to it as Google Forms 101. You may wonder what Google Forms are good for. Basically, any type of formative assessment, summative assessment, ticket out the door, or a survey. Google Forms is your go-to to figure out how to do any of those easily and possibly have your assessments graded for you. So let's start at the very beginning. First of all, how do you get into Google Forms? There's actually different ways you can do it. First, in your apps bar, many of you already have Google Forms downloaded as an app, so we can click on the apps, look for Google Forms here, make sure that you're looking at the different pages, and here it is, the purple app. Another way you could do it is if you're at the Google site or within your Gmail, you can click on the waffle over to the right, click on it, come down, and you'll find Google Forms right there also. Finally, a way that I personally like to do it is I keep all my apps that I use on a regular basis up in my bookmark bar, and so I have Google Forms, the purple icon right there. If you are on a Google Chromebook, you will also be able to find it down on the bottom toolbar across the bottom. You should see the app down below. And finally, and I guess this is a fourth way of doing it, you can always type in forms.google.com. Google has been very intuitive, and they have figured out that we often forget where things are. So if you put in forms.google, you'll get forms. If you put docs.google, you'll get a Google Doc. Same with sheets and drawings and so forth. Okay, now this is our startup view of Google Forms. As you can see, it starts out with a blank, and here I have an exit ticket because I've created that before. Blank quiz, worksheet, you may have some other templates up here at the top. You will also see down below, if you have created any forms, your most recent Google Forms that you have opened. They will show below. If you would like to see more templates, you can come up here to the template gallery, click on the arrows, and look at more templates. Make sure you are under general right here, unless you've saved some under your business or school. But if you scroll down, you'll notice that there's quite a few templates. I like a lot of the backgrounds. So what I do sometimes is just pick a background that I like, click on it, and that's suddenly now my new template. And I can just change anything I want on the Google form. But right now, we will go back, and let's start with a blank one. We're going to start at the very beginning with a blank Google form. Now with any Google document, the first thing you should always do is title the document, and that's the same with the Google form. Let's title it. We're going to have this Forms 101. Now notice I typed it here, but my title up here is not changed. If you come up and just simply click it, it will change to what you type down here. The next line that you see is form description. This is where you put your directions that you would like the people to follow. Do your, well, if I can type, your best to answer each question. Now, what I've seen a lot of people do is they try to type in a question right there, but then they get confused because there's no place for the answer to go. So just remember that when it says description, that means just give your directions. You can even skip it if you like. Now it comes up automatically with an untitled question. I will click right there where it says untitled question, and now you can see a bigger box opening up. It says also over here multiple choice. I will type in, the first thing I always like to do is, what is your first and last name? Now notice that multiple choice changed to short answer. Again, Google is intuitive, and Forms decided, well, they're asking what the first and last name is, it must be a short answer because that will not be a multiple choice question. So it automatically gives a spot right here for the students to type it in. Now we have a toolbar right over here. The first is add a question. That's the plus sign. Next one is you can add a title and a description. That is very good if you are going to have different sections, and that's something we will go over in another video. Next one is adding an image. Again, that's a little more advanced. Today we're just going to keep basic, but adding images are actually very, very easy. You can also add a video, and this is the adding the section. So I will just simply add another question. It comes up right below it. Sometimes it comes up above it, but you can always move your questions around with the 6 little dots right there. You can just drag it anywhere you want. Okay, I'm going to type on this one. Let's see, I think we will go with a multiple choice question here. What is the name of the 16th president of the United States? Now, it left it a short answer because they're assuming you want us to type it in, but we can change that. Click on the small arrow to the right, and it gives you choices of the type of question. So let's go to multiple choice. There's one. I want to add another choice. Come down here, clicking add an option. I'm going to go, I know it's Abraham. And I can keep adding choices, or I can always say none of the above, anything that we would like. Let's add another question here. This time I think I want to do a checkbox question, because a checkbox question is pretty neat. You can actually check multiple answers. What are some items that may be found in a kitchen? Now, obviously, there's lots of things found in the kitchen, so let's say sink is one option. Another option would be toilet. Another option could be cabinets. Another option would be dishwasher. Another option would be a bed. Now, obviously, a sink, cabinets, and dishwasher would be found in a kitchen, so the students would have the option of clicking all 3 of those and be marked as correct. Now again, you can go with short answer. Paragraph will be longer. Now, if you have Google grade your quiz, if you're creating a quiz, we need to be sure to keep with multiple choice, check boxes, or drop down. These are the only options where Google can actually grade it. If we go with short answer or paragraph, we will have to go back and look at each student's individually, which is fine. We always want to make sure we know what the students know. Same with linear scale. You can have something like rate my teaching on a scale of 1 to 5. That's really good for a survey. That's usually an opinion type question. Or a multiple choice grid, you can always have date and time stamp on it also. I always have a problem with students trying to skip out on answering some of the questions. Not happy with that, so I like to come on here into each question and click required. That way it will show up as a required question, and the students may not turn in the survey or quiz until they have answered that question. I will come back and do each one like that. Of course, if you'd like to delete that question, you hit the trash can. If you would like to copy the question, again, duplicate it, click it right there. That would be really good if, let's see, what are some items that may be found in a bedroom? I didn't want to recopy all of the answers. No, I'll do, instead of cabinet, I'll say dresser. But see how easy that was just to duplicate the question and then move on from there. Again, I want it required. It was already required on the other one, so we're good. First and last name, always want that required. Now, when you scroll up, notice a little red asterisk. That means that you have marked it required. Now, if you would like to see what the students see, come up here and look at the preview. It's this little eye up here. We can preview it. Come over here. It tells you that the red asterisk means it's required. There's the directions I gave. Do your best to answer each question. And as you see, I have the asterisk on each one. This is an easy way to double check which ones you've marked. And it will show you exactly what the students are going to see. And notice here, when I marked up here, it changed it. That's because it's a multiple choice question. But down here, remember this is a checkbox. So that's the kitchen. Let's go with sink, cabinets, dishwasher. I can check all that I need to. Whoops. And of course, they are required to answer their name. I am going to go back to the editing. I want to leave. And now, I have a pretty purple up here at the moment, but maybe I'm not a fan of purple. We may come up here to the color palette and change the colors if we would like. I know of many teachers who like to change it back and forth according to the class or the type of assignment that they have. The next thing I want to point out is this cogged wheel here. This is your settings button, a very important button. Click on the settings button and automatically you may collect the email addresses of anybody completing your quiz or your survey. You may restrict it to your school users or your business users. And teachers, if you are doing a quiz, you may very well want to limit it to one response. I've heard some teachers say that when they forgot to click on that, the students would go in, take the quiz, finish it, go find out some correct answers from their classmates, come back in and take it again. What they don't realize is the teacher actually gets all of the grades and all of the responses. So click on those, then presentation is your next tab. It will show the progress bar. That's just a simple bar at the bottom of the survey or quiz that will show how far along you are. And this is one of my favorite, shuffle the question order. That's always great when you have kids taking the quiz next to each other on their own devices and you have some wandering eyes in the room. And down here, your confirmation message. You can type in anything or you don't have to do anything. You can just say, thank you for trying your best today. That's just a message that the students will see once they submit it. And finally, quizzes. If you would like Google to grade your answers, grade your quiz, this is the area that you must go to. Click on quizzes, click it, make it a quiz. Then you have the option to have it graded, release a grade to the students immediately after they finish. If it's a multiple choice or drop down or the check boxes, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you would like to review their answers, and especially if you have short answers, you can go ahead and click later after manual review. And then again, scroll down. Make sure you scroll down. You have a spot here that they can see their missed questions, they can see the correct answers, they can see the point values. Make sure you save. Now notice you did not see all of this, so you have to scroll down and make sure that you see it and click Save. Now we just made this a quiz. Because of that, when I click on this multiple choice question, I now have a spot here for the answer key that shows up. We will click Answer Key, click the correct answer, and come over here and mark the point value of that question. We have to do this for every possible. Let's see, this was the kitchen. Whoops, I'm sorry, answer key, sink, cabinets, dishwasher, point value. You need to do this for every question that you have. I'll do this very quickly. Dresser, bed. Point value. You can choose whatever point value you would like. Now this one, of course, we will not have an answer key to. It's a short answer, so it would not grade it anyhow, but we wouldn't want to anyhow because it's their name. There we are. We now have a short quiz created in Google Forms. All you would need to do is go to your Google Classroom, make an assignment in your Google Classroom, and then pull up your forms. That would be the easy way of assigning it. Now, the question is probably, well, how in the world do I see the grades? What am I going to be looking at? How do I get the kids' grades? Well, I have a sample quiz over here, and I'm going to pull this up, and we will look at how we would get the quiz grades. When it would pull up normally, this was just a simple little quiz I had done. Notice it says sample up there, but I had a different title down here. When it is finished, pull up your Google Forms again. When you pull it up, it will look at questions. You need to click on responses right next to it. Click on responses. It also tells you how many students or people have responded. You have the option of looking at the summary or the individual responses. This is a summary. As you scroll down, you have some wonderful visuals to give you an idea of what the students know at the time. You may also go to individual, and it will show them individually. Personally, what I like to do is come over here to your little green box with the cross. That is Google Sheets. Click on that. Click on Google Sheets. Look at that. Here is now a spreadsheet for the question, what is Donald Trump's middle name? It shows me all of the answers and shows me who gave that answer. It has everything laid out very simply for you. Now, if I had had this graded by Google Forms, then it would also have a column with the grades on it. But that's all you have to do to actually find your grades and find your scores with Google taking care of it. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to help you in any way possible. Thank you. I hope this was helpful.